all of your memories are state dependent, which means all your memories are emotionally dependent. The better you remember something, the more emotional it was. Hello guys, Matt Tate here from Fork in the Road, your channel for transformation. Walking here at the home of the arts, Hotta. There's a market just going on over there. Back on the Gold Coast after the trip to Auckland. I'll take the sunnies off. And today I am doing a quick couple of videos following up from the event. Had a couple of questions on when, for example, to use the very first activity we did in the breakthrough event. The very first activity we did was all about accessing old memories. Accessing old memories, generating feelings, but doing it in a positive way. We all know how to access negative feelings in the negative way, but this is the positive way. And that is to generate feelings of empowerment, feelings when you were on purpose, feelings when you were at one. Just moving off the path here. And so that's what we're talking about. We're talking about getting access to those old feelings. And that's what anchoring does. And so anchoring is all about getting your body and your mind in alignment with those old memories. Just going through some sunlight here. And the old memories are what we want to access. Now we want to find a time when you were on purpose, a time when you were feeling amazing, and that was the anchoring session. If you want to learn more about that, go look at that video, which I'll link somewhere here below, which was in the breakthrough event. The question which someone asked me in the YouTube channel was, when do I use this? And I think it's about what's valuable, right? What is valuable? What is valuable to you? And the thing that I think is valuable to use any of these tools is when you're going through something difficult, right? So when you're going through something where you're not happy, where you're flat in your life, where it's something that happens all the time, right? Where you can start to manage your state, manage your emotions, get the most out of the moment. So what would be an example? Well, if you find yourself looking at social media too much, which we all do from time to time, and you get dragged into some negative things, well, the good anchor would be to fire off this anchor. In our case, we grabbed our ear in the event and it connected to a feeling of purpose in our heart. That's what happened to numerous people. And then if you've got that, and you can fire off a bit of feeling in the heart, and then that could be the trigger to get off that social media and do something else. Anything else. Doesn't matter what it is. Or maybe you've got a situation, you're in your work and you're not on purpose in your work, but you need to pay the bills. And you need to find a plan, and you'll do all of that sort of work in the background. But we need to manage our state so you're not in that negative space. Well, what could you do? You could, quite simply, fire off the anchor when you have the worst moment at work, right? So think about your trigger point. Think about what it is that sets you off. What it is at work or in a relationship or whatever it is. Fire off the anchor of being on purpose, of being aligned, of having that vision where you had the determination, you had that positive feeling. And you can start to at least manage your emotional state. Now, you can anchor anything. Our session was specifically on breaking through to vision with purpose. The reality is you can anchor anything. You can anchor confidence, a time when you were confident. Tug on your ear, feel the feelings, remember the memories of feeling empowered. What was going on then that made you feel confident? You can do anything. And so I would say, find the situation where you've got the negative feeling coming up. What do you want instead of that? Is question number 2. And then question number 3 is then accessing the old memory of the opposite, like that thing that you want instead. And then anchoring that to the ear or some other part of the body. Or you could anchor it to, a word. When you hear a particular word or a thing you see. or a thing you feel, or a thing you might think. You can anchor it to all sorts of things. The example I gave in the session about anchoring was that red is stop, and green is go, and yellow, well, everyone has a different interpretation on what yellow means. Put your foot down or slowly brake. Whatever it is, but we've anchored meaning to the color, right? And that's a visual. And that's the thing to think about is, okay, what is the negative trigger that you could anchor something different to, or you can anchor it to your body and then go, oh, I'm feeling that thing, donk, 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 you tug your ear or whatever we've set in the anchor. And you can actually create a better feeling in the body, which means you'll respond better in the moment, which means that you will be more empowered and you'll have better outcomes. You won't go into victimhood. You'll be in what they call cause and not effect. At cause is where you are causing the outcome. At effect is where you are affected by other people. We don't want that, do we? So why are we doing this video today? It's to show you when to do anchoring. What are we talking about? Well, we've mentioned what anchoring was in the session. It's about anchoring feelings, thoughts, images, and sounds that change how you feel in the body. Why is that important, I hear you ask? Well, how you feel in the body dictates your life. If you leave a marriage because you're feeling something bad in the body, if you leave a job because you're feeling something bad in the body, because someone's done something which you're not happy about, sometimes that's legitimate and is worthy and warranted. Other times, we're actually firing off emotions from other events that are not to do with this. And if it's not warranted, then that's where the anchoring is really powerful to get yourself back into state. If you're not leaving the job tomorrow, get yourself back into an empowered state so you can do some better outcomes, do some better actions. And all action starts from your feelings. All of your memories are state dependent, which means all your memories are emotionally dependent. The better you have the better you remember something, the more emotional it was, right? And stereotypically, women are better at memory than men because women will have more emotions on more things, which means they store them very well in their brain. It's a superpower. It's a generalization, of course, because there are some men I know that are the opposite to that and some women who are the opposite, but it's a reasonable generalization. Feel free to argue with me. It's good either way. So that's the message from today, is the when to use the anchoring. When to use the anchoring. Attach the anchor to a negative situation. Attach the anchor, or not attach it, what's the word I'm trying to say here? Fire off the anchor when the negative situation happens. And you could anchor it to, you see the thing on your desk at work. There might be a little thing you see to remind you of that feeling and that time when you were empowered, where you were confident, where you were whatever the thing is. Now, there's stuff to do in self-concept that I think would layer over this perfectly. But for now, let's focus just on the emotional anchor. That was the first activity, and that's my conversation for today. So when do you use anchoring? You use it to handle negative feelings. What's an example? Maybe at work. Maybe you got someone at work. You need to put a better anchor over the top of them. Because when you have an emotional thing with someone at work, you can find that you'll start to be worried about even approaching them. And so you can change that. You can have a better feeling by, we had this one, you might choose a different one. Find a situation which is worthwhile for you. Where do you feel crappy in your day? And it's consistent. Make it valuable and create an anchor, a positive one, to at least neutralize it. That's the first place I'd use anchoring. Of course, I also use anchoring when I'm about to get onto a stage and speak. I use anchoring when I need to perform. I use anchoring when I need to lift my energy if I'm feeling down. There's all sorts of situations where I can use anchoring. So I might even do a week of anchoring on myself. As an example, I'll find some situations and I'll do some anchoring. Okay guys, Matt Tate, Fork in the Road, and that's all about anchoring, when to use it, conversation. I hope it helps you to understand when to do anchoring.